My name is Vicky and I'm a tutor with West Sussex, an adult education charity based in West Sussex. Today I'm going to give you a short cookery taster course during which I'll teach you how to produce a tasty, nutritious meal using mostly tinned and dried foods. I hope that you enjoy the results and please do share pictures of your finished meals with us on our social media pages. We'd love to see what you make. Okay, let's get started. So we're going to make baked beans. I know we can open a tin, but the shops aren't necessarily full of tins of baked beans at the moment. Here I've used dried onion flakes. There we go, they look like this. And what I've done is I've used half a cup of dried onion flakes, which I soaked in boiled water for about 15 minutes. So half a cup of flakes, half a cup of warm boiled water, soaked for 15 minutes. These I then softened, and because they are dried, the softening process took about 15 minutes. They do still retain a certain amount of crunch. So, onions in the pan. Obviously, if you have a real onion, you can use a real onion, no problem. Once your onions are softening, you then need 4 cloves of garlic. I'm not going to use garlic today, I'm going to use dried garlic. So 4 cloves, about a teaspoon. There you go. So let's just bring that up to the heat. One tablespoon of sugar, brown sugar. If you haven't got brown sugar, use white sugar, no problem. 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. One. Oh. 2. 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, dark or light, either are fine. This is a great recipe to make with children. Most kids love baked beans and most kids love putting things in a pan. Half a teaspoon smoked paprika. Half. Because that's going to give it a real kick. And half of thyme, dried thyme. Obviously, if you're using fresh thyme, you'd need to use a fair bit more than that. Give this a good stir together. Good. Okay. $250 ml of passata. Half a box. That's handy. And in. that a good stir. Mix that all together. Crunch of black pepper. You probably do not need salt because remember your soy sauce is going to be quite salty. Now all I need is 2 tins of mixed beans. I'm using mixed beans, or you can use cannellini beans or haricot beans. You can use dried beans, but these I have and they're delicious. Okay, so these have had 5 minutes of a very gentle simmer. They're delicious. So, quick, simple, healthy, nutritious. If you've got a bit of chopped parsley or some chopped thyme, you could use that to garnish. I don't. My latest garnish is spring onion tops. There we go. Okay, so another great British classic, the tea loaf. We're going to make a tea loaf. We will need flour, but this is a tea loaf which does not need butter and it does not need eggs. So we can make that at the moment. What I've done, I've taken 250 millilitres, 1 cup, and I've made 1 cup of Earl Grey tea. You can use normal tea, that will be fine. Earl Grey just gives a slightly more delicate flavour. I then took 160 grams of dried fruit. These are figs. I happen to have an opened bag of figs at the back of the cupboard. When I weighed it, 160 grams. So there we are. Today's tea loaf will be figs. You can use any dried fruit. You can use sultanas, raisins, currants, plums, prunes, dates, cranberries, anything like that. Or even a combination of any of those and it will still work. So I took 160 grams of dried fruit and I am soaking that overnight in 1 cup of tea. So we'll come back to this tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Okay, so here's our lovely dried fruit. This has soaked overnight in the tea mixture. So it's had the opportunity to soak up some of that lovely tea. As you can see with the figs, I chopped these up. But if you were using raisins or sultanas, there's no need to do that. Raisins or sultanas will soak up a lot more of the tea. That's fine. Okay. 250 grams sieved self-raising flour. 250 grams caster sugar. And you don't have to, it's optional. But I think it makes it taste good. 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Oh. Okay. And give that a sieve. And just mix that round. Figure of 8, get it all evenly distributed. This cake is one of the easiest cakes to make, yet one of the tastiest. And into our dry mixture, our wet ingredients. All of that in. Figure of 8, we'll mix that up nicely. Now if you've not got much tea mixture left, especially if you're using raisins and currants, don't worry, it will be fine, trust me. But what you want to do is mix in all this flour so it looks cakey. Again, great recipe for children to bake. We're nearly there. Look at the lovely colour on that. And that needs to go into a greased 2-pound loaf tin, or I've got a silicone mould. And even though I'm still using silicone, I've still greased it. Better safe than sorry. Bring that towards me. The colour is just beautiful. I'm going to put this into a fan oven on 150, 170 non-fan. It's going to bake for a long time. So, depending on how much moisture was left in your cake, you're going to need to bake this for between an hour and 40 and possibly even 2 hours. I'm going to check this after about an hour and 40 minutes. So all of this out. If you're using raisins and sultanas, try not to leave them on the top. Because this is going to bake for a long time, the raisins and sultanas on the top may get a little bit burnt. If you've got any baking paper or baking parchment paper, you can cover the cake once you've achieved that lovely golden brown on the top. I don't have any. The shops don't have any. I did look. So this cake will probably get a little bit of crunchiness on the top, but we like that. It's all good. Okay, in we go. And I'll check that after about an hour and 40 minutes. So we've had an hour and 40 minutes. I've just taken it out of the oven. Crispy on top, but we're not burnt, so we're good. I don't think this will be done, but let's have a look. Skewer in at an angle. And that's sticky. I don't know if you can see, there's actually not much to see, but I can feel it with my fingers and it's very, very sticky. So I know that the cake mixture isn't cooked yet. I'm going to put this back in for another 10 minutes and check it. But we'll come back to this. This has had a couple of hours and we're done. So skewer in. And that is not sticky. That is great. We're good. So I'm going to leave that for 20 minutes to cool, and then I'm going to take it out of its tin, and depending on how hungry we are, some of it may be consumed within the next 20 minutes. We're good. There's a So, another great British classic, corned beef hash. 3, possibly 4 ingredients. Onion. So you can use a real onion. Or today I'm going to be using some of these dried onion flakes. I took half a cup of dried onion flakes, soaked them for about 15 minutes in boiled but still warm water, and I then browned them. and they do still have this certain crunch to them. They're not soft, they're browned and they're crunchy, and that will work really well in this dish. Potatoes, you can use tin potatoes. I'm not using tin potatoes today because I don't have any tin potatoes, but I do have white potatoes. Now, old or red potatoes will be better, but they're not in season at the moment, so I've got white potatoes. With your potatoes, you need to peel them and then cut them into chunks, this sort of size. Don't worry about being precise, it's not science. And then they need to be boiled until, I'll bring this round for you to see, until they're soft. So you put the knife in and they're soft. So I've done that with my potatoes. Obviously, if you're using tin potatoes, they're already cooked and you don't need to do that process at all. Corned beef, 340 gram tin of corned beef. Be careful. This is not a job for a child, opening corned beef. Definitely an adult job there. Very, very dangerous and very, very sharp. Be very careful. If you keep your corned beef in the fridge, or just put it in the fridge the day before you're going to use it in this dish, it will come out of the tin much easier. It'll be colder and it will have contracted and it will come out much easier. Corned beef, I then cut into cubes. Not accurate, they're not going to stay like that. About a centimetre, something like that. Okay. And then some people like to use Worcester sauce, 1 to 2 tablespoons of Worcester sauce. I don't use it, I don't think it needs it, and because we're going to be having this with our baked beans, I don't think it needs it. So, first thing to do, brown your onions. I've done this already, set to one side. You then need to fry your potatoes, and what you're looking for, and I've already done these, is you're looking for colour. Not burn, but colour and crisp. This corned beef hash is a crispy, crunchy meal. Sort of mudgy, sort of mushed up, mashed potato corned beef hash. This is a crispy, crunchy corned beef hash. So these I've fried about 10 minutes and they sizzled. I could hear them sizzling. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add the corned beef, and I want the same thing. I'm going to put it on a high heat, and I want it to sizzle, and I want it to brown and crunch. And when I stir it around the pan, I want to hear that crunchiness. So that's what I'm going to do. I added the cubed corned beef to the potatoes, and I have fried them in a really hot frying pan. This wok, a wok is a really good one actually because it gets really hot, for about 10 minutes. And as you can see, it's gone crunchy. We've got crunchy bits of corned beef. We haven't got cubes of moist corned beef anymore. We've got crunchy corned beef. So I did that for about 10 minutes. And then I added our lovely browned onions and carried on frying for about 2 or 3 minutes. And look at that. Crispy and crunchy and the way it's supposed to be. And let's have some of our lovely homemade baked beans on the side. Now I'm hungry. So we've made corned beef hash, we've made homemade baked beans, we've made our tea loaf, and all of these 3 actually great British classics I've made, or I could have made, using dried or tinned or store cupboard ingredients. In the case of this, a bag of figs that had been left at the back of the cupboard and forgotten about. There we have it. So I hope that you enjoyed this short course and that I've inspired you to continue your learning journey with us at Aspire. Please check out our website for further details about online and classroom-based courses in your area. And please send us your pictures of what you make. We'd love to see them.